Hi, Peter Charles here, and let's take a look at some of the results I've been getting out of the Voigtla Nokton 50mm f1.2. I got the opportunity to use it at a club shoot, and I've also done a bit of other photography with it. So I've got a few first impressions on the lens itself. And, we can talk about its wonderful build quality and how smoothly it operates, but, we can also get a chance to have a look at how it renders an image. And this isn't a scientific comparison of lenses. It's just, what appearance appeals to you. Does the rendering the lens provides, does that appeal to you? And that's really what we're after here. Now, every image that you're going to see has been done on my X Pro 3. And I've used 3 lenses in all. I've had the Nokton 50mm f1.2. I used my Fujifilm 50mm f2 and my Fujifilm 56mm f1.2. So you'll see images from all of these lenses. So let's get started with some couple of images to show that the fact this lens can produce a sharp image. Okay, to get started, let's look at 2 images. One is this old dilapidated tractor, and what we'll do is we'll zoom in and take a look at the case emblem, and as you can see, it's reasonably sharp. I mean, the lens does produce a sharp image at f11, so it does show you that the Nokton 50mm will do a good job. Now here we got an old combine. We're going to do the same thing. We're just going to zoom in and have a look at its sharpness level. And as you can see, it's going to be quite sharp as well. No problems there whatsoever. But we don't buy these sorts of lenses just to take pictures of tractors. It's a portrait length lens, and that's how we're going to look at it. We're going to examine this picture shot at f1.2, and as you can see, it's not particularly sharp, but it gives a very smoothing appearance to her face. It's quite pleasant. We'll look at the same image in black and white, and it really does give you a feel for an image taken on film as opposed to digital. And I think that's one of the things I like about it. As you can see, again, that sort of general softness, a bit of a smoothing effect, and just that film effect, the film vibe. Now we're going to stop down the Nokton to f2, which I think it would be a fairly typical aperture for a lot of portrait photos. And we'll zoom in again and take a look at the effect. And as you can see, there's more texture in her face. It's a bit sharper. You can see some detail there that you could not see in the f1.2 images. Now for comparison purposes, let's look at the Fujifilm 50mm f2 lens shot wide open at f2. And when we zoom in on this image, we can see it's fairly soft at f2. It's not particularly sharp. The Nokton is a bit sharper at f2 than the 50mm f2 Fujifilm. Now we'll get out the Fujifilm 56mm f1.2 lens. We'll shoot it at f2 and see what kind of results we get when we zoom in. And you can see it's quite sharp. I mean, there is a bit of smoothing, but not a lot. You can still see a lot of texture in her face, especially around the eyes. Okay, let's put these 3 images together. All of the images are shot at f2, and you can see the relative sharpness and the effects that you get between those 3 pictures. This is not obviously an exhaustive type of test like you'd get on an optical bench, but it's more about what kind of feel you get from these lenses shot at a typical aperture of f2. And it's not about which one is best, but rather which one appeals to you. Do you find the Nokton more than sharp enough at f2, or do you go for the sharpness of the 56mm or the inexpensive 50mm? It's kind of your choice. You can see from the collection of those 3 last images that the lenses do render somewhat differently at f2. There's differences in sharpness, there's differences in the smoothness that you get on the textures of the face. So it's really what appeals to you. Now, you can stop all those lenses down and they'll all be sharp. I mean, I've seen enough results from my 50, my 56, and this lens that if you stop them down, they're all sharp. It's what they're like when you're in that f1.2, f2, f2.8 area. What kind of rendering do you get when you're doing portraits of those apertures? And I think this will give you a bit of a feel for that, decide which is a kind of look that appeals to you. So give that some thought. As I say, it's not an exhaustive test. It's not scientific. It's just to give you a chance to see the differences between the lenses. Cheers.